Yo, what's poppin'? Welcome to this week's edition of Ricketts Review. It's me, your boy Ron Ricketts, and this week I want to discuss something I was just talking to you lot on Twitter about, because I said to you I'm going to make the video right now. Yesterday or 2 days ago, when England played against Germany and they won 3-2, I tweeted before the game saying it's nice to see Eric Dyer starting for England. But how did he skip ahead of Tom Huddleston in their selection pool? And you lot went crazy. Most of you lot went absolutely ballistic. If not all of you went ballistic. What are you on about? He's better than him. Tom Huddleston's not good. Tom Huddleston's in the Championship. He's playing in the Premier League, fighting for the title and all this stuff. And you lot didn't understand my point, but like I said to you, I understand why you lot don't understand my point, because you're not on the other side. You lot are looking at it as fans, and what you see in the media is what you regurgitate back into the public, or sometimes to us pros on Twitter. And me being a pro doesn't make me necessarily my opinion more valid than yours, but it's usually going to be a bit more, more knowledgeable to a degree, because we're on the inside and we see how the system works. Do you know what I mean? You lot are just seeing it as fans and you're very impulsive. I can't blame you for it, because you're not on the inside, so you don't see certain things. You don't see the things that have influenced players' careers and why they end up other places. Do you know what I mean? But us as players, we know behind closed doors, we know what's really going on, and we know why that player who's probably better than that player is not playing at that level right now. Do you know what I mean? It's not as easy as you lot are seeing it. Anyway, let me explain what I'm saying. When I said that, it wasn't like me personally. I'll tell you straight. For me, Tom Huddleston's a better football player than Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer does a good job for Tottenham in the system, brilliant. Tom Huddleston, better natural footballer, finesse, the way he passes, his passing range, the type of passes, the weight of passes. So, I mean, one might get around the pitch a bit more, but you could say Eric Dyer gets around the pitch more than Pirlo. We're talking about the quality of the football player with the football. So you got to understand that. If you're talking about him off the ball, then you might as well say Lee Cattermole's better than Huddleston, and Lee Cattermole's better than Pirlo. No, I'm talking about the quality of the football player. So that's what I was referring to. But let me explain myself. It wasn't about if Eric Dyer was better or Tom Huddleston was better. That's not my point. What I'm saying to you, what happens in English football is we have these so-called best players, or no, the best players. They come through at these clubs, right? So then Tom Huddleston came through. He came for a derby. Spurs bought him, and I'm using Tom as an example. He comes through, so he's one of the best English players, as midfielders in this case, in the country. So he gets a chance. He's playing for Tottenham. He's playing really well. Spurs fans are loving him when he's playing. Do you know what I mean? If he's not playing, you lot say why he doesn't play. Oh, he doesn't play because of this. But real footballers, and like I said, footballers that we appreciate football, Tom should be playing. But whether the coach can find a system so the game runs through him, that's another thing. When you see Busquets and Xavi and Iniesta, the game runs through them, so they're always going to play. No one's going to look at Xavi and say, well, he doesn't cover that much ground. Well, he doesn't. No, the game runs through. The whole system is built around certain players. Tom has the qualities for someone to do that. But that's not my point right now. My point is this. You have a Tom Huddleston. He comes through. He's playing. He's in the England squad. He's getting games in A, plays in Brazil. He's in the England squad. He's rated highly by his peers. Let me tell you that right now. So he's playing. Then it comes a point when the manager changes and he's not in the plans no more, because there's a new coach. I think it was it AVB? He comes in. Remember, a coach can make or break a player. We've already seen what Tom Huddleston can do. And like I said, amongst his peers, he's rated extremely highly. So Tom Huddleston now is ousted. He then goes and moves to, like I'm going to say this, Tom obviously probably doesn't know I know this, but I know that he could have moved to Everton. He chose Hull, for whatever reason he chose Hull. He went to Hull. It didn't work out. He gets relegated. Remember, he's still the same good player that AVB wasn't having in his squad, because he wanted a different type of player. Fair play to him. That's what AVB wanted to do. That doesn't mean Tom ain't good. Do you know what I mean? That same thing happened. I remember you, and this is the thing you lot are thinking about now. You don't know what's going on. I've been at Spurs where I was there. Where who was it? David Pleat, Jacques Santini put Michael Brown ahead of Michael Carrick. Michael Brown ahead of Sean Davis. Michael Brown ahead of me, but that's a whole other thing. But what I'm saying is he put Michael Brown, who's he's a hard-working player. Do you know what I mean? But he's not better than the players there. He's not a better centre midfielder than Michael Carrick. Obviously, it's an opinion thing. But what I'm saying, and David Plea or what's his name, Jack Santini had a difference of opinion. So they put Michael Brown in there. But, like, could Michael Brown have played for Man United, really? Like, no, he can't, but Carrick can, and he's a good football player. But one coach can make you or break you. Anyway, looking back at it, AVB wasn't really feeling Tom that much. So anyway, Tom moves on. Then who do we come in? Who comes into the picture? He goes to Hull. He gets relegated. That's not just on him. Remember, this is a quality football player. If I put Busquets, and this is what you don't need to think, you need to think outside the box. If I put Busquets in the Hull system, in the Hull team, would he have kept them in the league? No, he probably would have got. They probably would have got relegated because of the team thing. He's still a quality football player, so he gets relegated, and because he's now in. Remember, he was in the England squad. The same player was in the England squad not too long ago, but then he gets relegated, not no fault of his own. So I mean, like I said, it's a team game. That he gets relegated. Oh, he's out the England squad. How is that possible? So, because it's one or two things. It's either they're picking them on badges, which I know it is, and what division you're in, or he wasn't good enough in the first place, but you had him there. So which one is it? Think about that, people. Think about what I just said. If Tom Alderson wasn't good enough, he wouldn't have been in the actual team. So he was obviously good enough, or was it just putting him there for the badges? Like, think about that. Because all of a sudden now, the same player that was in the squad is got relegated. No fault of his own, but he's out the squad. Like that doesn't, like, he's out of even the conversation. Forget him not being on form or anything. He's out of the conversation. When you talk about the squad, he's not even in it. Do you know what I mean? So that lets you know that these coaches are picking things influence on where these players, like where they're playing, which is nonsense because you're meant to be picking it based on the talent, because that's why you put him in there in the first place. Do you know what I mean? You can't, because you've already seen a player play in the Premier League, and you know he can play in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? That's why you picked him in the first place. But that's not what's happening, and this is what's messing up English football. Because yeah, you can put Dyer in there if you want to, but how's Tom then, like, who was ahead of Fabian Delph? Fabian Delph then is ahead of Tom Alderson, but he wasn't, when Tom was in the same league, he was ahead of him. So what are you saying? Because Tom got relegated, he's changed as a player? And when I'm talking about Tom Alderson, I'm using him as an example. It's a very clear example, but you lot are not looking. You lot are looking at where Eric Dyer's playing now, and he's second in the league, and they're going for the title. Yeah, that's brilliant. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the selection pool, because it's not then selecting the best English players. You're not selecting them because you're looking at who's in the league right now, and that's incorrect. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be looking at the pound for pound best English players. And another thing which I'm going to explain to you, because some people were saying, oh, but if Tom Alderson was that good, someone would have bought him back in the Premier League. No, it doesn't work like that, because the English Premier League and the people who control it and the teams and the owners and that, they don't care about English football and English national team and English players. They don't generally care about that. And I can say that because I've travelled the world and I've seen countries where they do care, or they are forced to care, because of the fact that that they haven't got the budget to just go and look over the other side and go, oh, let's go and buy Modric. He's over there. Let's go and buy a ready-made guy like Memphis Depay, who they've just gone and bought him, but now all of a sudden he's not good enough and they're slating him. Do you know what I mean? In these countries, and a lot of countries where I've been around the world, MLS, Germany, a lot of these places, they have foreigners, but they really value their own guys. They also, they don't have the funds. Like, I've been to countries where you can only have 3 foreigners. So what does that force you to do? That forces you to have the best of the homegrown players in your squad. So if that was the case in England, and they actually genuinely cared about the product of English football, Tom Alderson would be playing in the league, because he would be one of the best players. Remember, he was playing for England not too long ago. He would be back in the Premier League, but there's no genuine care for the English player. So then when that one guy gets relegated, and he's one of the best English players in the country, who's just playing for the national team, there's no real need to go and quickly just go and buy him because what I do. Because what they're doing, if you're not seeing this, what they do is they brought in the homegrown rule, right? So they bring that homegrown rule just to kind of like ease up the people that are complaining at the top in the hierarchy of the FA who don't control the Premier League. So what they're doing is, they go, okay, we're going to bring in X amount of homegrown players that you need for having your squad. Then what do? What do Man City do? What do these teams do? They go, okay, we're gonna buy Bill Wilshere. They don't want Wilshere. He's a good football player. And he can play for the Champions. He's a really good football player. They want to go and buy Delph. They go and buy Delph. They don't want Delph. They don't want him. They're not going to play him. They're going to play Fernandinho and they're going to play Fernando. Or if they're not fit, they're going to play Yaya in there. And they're going to put Silva in the hole. That's what they're going to do. They don't want these players. So what you see them do, they don't bring through their own players that they had. Remember, they had Sturridge. They don't bring through their own players. They go, we're going to go and buy an English player just to fill in the quota. They don't actually want him. So then you see Delph at City, then all of a sudden they selected him in the national team. It's like, no, doesn't work. It shouldn't be working like that. They go and buy Jack Rodwell, good player. They don't want Jack Rodwell. They never wanted Scott Sinclair. They never really wanted Adam Johnson. Good players, but they don't want them because they don't genuinely care about them. And that's what you don't need to understand. They don't genuinely care. So these players who are quality players, good English players, they buy them, but they don't play them. Because they're never going to be ahead of these guys because they will spend across overseas before they're going to give an English player, not a chance, give him the head to go and play. It's like, I want to give him a chance. No. There's Nasri's, the David Silvers, the Juan Matas, the Luka Modric's, Van der Vaart. These players are not given a chance. They're seen as the best in their country and they play them because they don't have money to go and waste on other players. But you lot are not seeing the bigger picture. You lot are just looking at your teams now and go, no, he's better than him. No, we're fighting for the league. No, he's this. He's in the championship. Forget all that. And then you same guys who support your individual English clubs, who obviously in the end support England in the big competitions, you're the same people that go and you're the same people that after when England gets knocked out, you're complaining about, we're not that good, we're technically not good, why are we inferior to that nation, why did Croatia look better than us, why did this, how come Pedro look so calm and cool on the ball and Raheem Sterling's getting cramp and he's 36, and you lot start to ask these questions when it's too late. It's a bigger thing because the best English players they're not always, like, how's